Back to Bail Money. This is Mike. So today we're going to talk about something that we had a question on with one of the last few videos is should you start an LLC before you buy a business? All right. So first thing I wanted to do is kind of give you guys an understanding of what an LLC really is. So an LLC is a business structure, right? That's allowed by the state is what this says. Um, I'm going to simplify this even further, right? Because that's a very vague understanding of what an LLC is and what it's for. An LLC, when you really break it down to like the nuts and bolts of it, is just a business structure that you can use as a way to protect your assets, right? That's really the only reason to have a business structure, um, like an LLC, like an S corp, something like that, is to protect your assets. So should you have an LLC depends a lot on what you already have, right? And also what you're going to be buying. So if you're going to be buying a business that, let's say you're going to buy a business for $40,000 and it makes, let's say, $3,000 a month, and the goal is to flip the business. If you have the right insurances, right, which we'll probably get into insurances in a future video. If you have the right insurances, you can also use that as a way to protect your assets if you don't have an LLC or an S corp or something like that, right? I can't tell you much about LLCs or corporate structures because I own an LLC. I don't do anything outside of that LLC specifically. But I know that there are structures that can help you if you're planning on, let's say, growing this business and you also have a bunch of different assets. Ultimately, that's really the only reason why I would say to have an LLC is if, let's say, you have that business that you bought for $40,000 and makes $2,000 to $2,500 a month. You plan on growing it and selling it. The issue that you'll run into is if specifically if you're in a certain type of an industry where you're giving like let's say you're selling products that could potentially injure someone, that injury could lead to a lawsuit that could then make you lose your personal assets if you don't have the proper structure and the proper insurances. So that's the sole reason to really look at buying a corporate structure at this point if you're going to be flipping it. If you're going to own it as a portfolio asset, you definitely want to consider talking to a lawyer or talking to somebody about an LLC or about whatever corporate structure you need. If you heard like a little squeezy toy, it's my dog in the back, so sorry. But that's really it. Um, you don't want to worry about the wrong things at the wrong point. So it's going to depend on the size of the asset that you're looking at buying and what you own outside of that asset. So if you, let's say you own a house, you've got kids, you've got retirement accounts, stuff like that, you might want to consider talking to a lawyer to set up an LLC or some other corporate structure that would make sense for your the business that you're going to buy. Ultimately, the key to this is not going to be the key to your success is not going to be what structure you own in buying a flip a business or buying an online business, right? The key to it is really just understanding the structure of building this business and growing it. I tend to stick with content businesses because they're the easiest to grow because all I have to do is create more content, right? And that content will then attract more links, or maybe you can go out and get links if you're the type of person who likes to network online. Or if you know social media, so on and so forth. If it's an e-commerce brand, you may want to consider doing a corporate structure. If it's a software, if it's a marketplace, so on and so forth, you may want to consider those things. But I would say anytime that you are looking at doing a business, you have to know the risks, right? If you're buying it or starting it from scratch, you have to understand the risks. So I would say always um, know what you're doing, and if you don't know what you're doing, consider consulting with a legal team, right? Hopefully this has helped you guys out. I'm sorry if the screen went black. It went black on me. Hopefully this helps you all out to understand if you should start an LLC or if you need to really consider it. I would personally say, right, that the best way to approach this is just to go uh, talk with a lawyer. You can find a lawyer on Fiverr. You can find lawyers on Upwork if you don't have a lawyer that you trust that's in your local area. But ultimately, get a consultation so that you understand what would work best for you in the situation that you're trying to do. If you are like me and you just plan on owning these sites as a part of a portfolio and you have the right structure for you, then you're good to go, right? Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those questions below, and I will see you guys on the next one.